Welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host Cody Potter. We're going to get into the Commanders Bengals. We're going to basically forecast what we're going to go into. It's a Monday night game, pretty crazy. We're playing Monday Night Football in the preseason. I guess it's just a precursor for what's going on this year, man. We got a lot of primetime games this year. Jaden Daniels brings some excitement to this team. There's some other things I haven't really reported that I wanted to talk about, man. We got the stadium deal that's coming. There's a final vote in September. DC football is going to be back in 2030. That's pretty crazy, man. I do a lot of football talk here, man. I really don't try to get into too many things behind the scenes, but I did want to talk about the stadium. It's pretty exciting. FedEx Field is kind of ran out its welcome, man. 5 more years there, but they are doing some upgrades and things like that to fan experience, man. The ownership is doing great here, man. Something I probably don't talk about enough. I really don't get into behind the scenes, man. I'm not going to talk about every signing this team signs. For players, if it's a big injury, I'll report on it. If it's a cam body type thing, man, I'm probably not going to report on every little thing, man. But we did sign a couple players, signed a corner, signed Duke Riley, linebacker from Miami. Got rid of Dominique Hampton, a draft pick from last year, a late round guy. He was a safety, didn't really translate too well over to the linebacker position, man. We saw the struggles in the Patriots game, man. They gave him, a really good shot to go latch on with another team and show something before preseason's over, man. So maybe that helps him out, man. Maybe a change of scenery, different position, things like that. I don't always get into all these moves. I'll do it after the final cut downs and things like that for the roster. Something I do notice here, man, just little things that I'm getting snippets from comments and things like that, man. If you guys want to talk football, man, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk football. If we play like shit, man, I'm not going to just come on here for 60 seconds to say, oh, we played like shit. I mean, what the fuck kind of episode is that going to be? It's not really going to be one. So, we got ESPN and things like that for 60-second clips for a game when you play like crap. So, if you want to talk real football, you want to learn something, man, anything like that, man, I'm going to break down clips. I'm going to talk real football, man. I'm going to talk what I saw from a game. That's really what the podcast is about. If you're just going to watch a game with a beer and just be that fan, this probably ain't going to be the place for you, man. I'm going to talk real football. I'm not going to just come on here and Stephen A. Smith this and be like, oh, man, that looks like shit. It looks like shit for a preseason game when we had 30 starters, not 30 players not even playing in a game. That's not what football's about, man. You got to take something from the game. You got to learn something from it and build going forward, man. I'm going to talk more from a coach's and a scouting perspective, man. So, like, everything is teach tape. Everything is a lesson. Everything is something to build off of. When we got our second and third stringers playing against their starters, man, I'm looking for certain things. It doesn't mean I'm looking to win this game. It's preseason, man. Like, it's September. It's not even September football. It's the first game back, man. If our starters were playing against their third stringers, man, I would expect us to rout their ass. So, and they did. So, again, man, like I said, man, there's something to take away from the game. I can report on Josh Connerly. I can report on Trey Amos, the things that I was looking to see from the game. My precursor to the game. A lot of those names stuck out. That was what I was pretty much here to report. Again, man, like, if I come on here and just say we look like crap, then, it's going to be a quick episode. It's going to be a stupid episode, and there is no reason for me to even record that. So, again, we're going to get on to the Bengals. Again, Monday night game. I'm going to be there. I'm going to check it out, man. I'm going to be live in the house. Might as well, preseason. It's kind of worth getting your eyes on the second game, kind of like the dress rehearsal game. I expect that I'll see Jaden Daniels a little bit. Are they going to play Laramie Tunsil? Who knows? I'm sure maybe. I'm sure the starters will go a drive, maybe 2. That's really all I need to see. The thing about this game is the Bengals defense, man. They still don't have Trey Hendrickson. We still don't have Terry McLaurin. That has been the sights and sounds for this offseason, man. I really thought that deal would be done by now, but, business is business, man. I think Terry McLaurin being at practice yesterday, talking to Jaden Daniels on the sideline, man, he had his hoodie up. You saw a little clip of him talking with Adam Peters, man. I'm not going to run no clips in this episode, man. This is going to be a quick one. But the deal is coming, man. The dude is going to be playing here, man. I would really don't think he's going to play this season on the contract he's currently on. I think a deal does get done ultimately. I mean, I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but Did I think it would go on this long? No. Is my concern raised with it? No. I think it's just, honestly, I just don't think this is I just didn't really expect this to be this way with this player, but I mean, you have agents, you have business, you have him seeking a certain thing, you have the team trying to get a certain thing. Ultimately, a good deal is when both parties feel like they were fucked a little bit. And, honestly, I think when it's all said and done, if Terry wanted 30 and he signs for 28, he's going to be a little upset. If he wanted 33 and signs for 28, honestly, then he'll be a little bit more upset. But, if the team wanted him for somewhere in the 25 range, it's the same thing, man. Ultimately, man, the deal gets done, I think. I would have thought it would have been done early, early this week, yesterday, maybe even. The fact that he's talking to Adam Peters on the sideline, the fact that he's talking to Jaden Daniels on the sideline, which is maybe some progress is happening, man. I think this is the time where you really want to get him in to get things ramped up for the season. But, he probably doesn't play against the Bengals this week, which is fine, whatever. I don't need him. Again, you're only running 2 drives. You're going to take away certain things from the starters, man. But, I mean, with Jaden Daniels on the field, if we run 2 drives, I would expect 10 points. Against that defense, I would really hope for 14. And then, barring whatever the defense does, I don't think you need to see the starters out there long again. I think you learned from last preseason game that our depth needs some reps, man. You need to, like, in case of injury, you need to have certain guys that can come in and fill a role. And we need to upgrade performance on that level of this team. You pretty much know what you got in starters, man. We have an aging roster. Zach Ertz, I don't need to see him out there. I don't need to see Bobby Wagner out there. I don't need to see Frankie Luvo out there. I've already talked about the depth at the linebacker position. Get through training camp healthy, get through preseason healthy. That's the main concern, really. I mean, how long can we go, man? Again, these reps are valuable for the guys that were on the field against the Patriots, man. I would like to see them improve some against the Bengals. The Bengals defense is really, really struggling since last year. Their best player isn't even out there right now. You would look to see us dominate, realistically, man. The way that we run this offense, man, I look to see results while the ones are against the ones, maybe the twos against the twos. Let's see what the threes can do against the threes. I think everybody's going to look a little bit better than what we saw against New England. A Monday night game is pretty wild in the preseason, but again, we're going to see this team under the lights. So how does that show up, man? That should be exciting for everybody. Everybody involved. I mean, this is a good test for our defense, man. Joe Burrow is that dude. Jamar Chase is that dude. T. Higgins is that dude. Sidney Brown, their running back, he's showing that every time he gets on the field, man, he's got a little something to say for the team just being a throw first team. He runs the ball very, very well. They do have a pretty decent run blocking offensive line. They just they do not protect Joe Burrow very well. I'm hoping that improves this year, man. I'm tired of seeing Joe Burrow get hit the way he does. Just as a fan of Joe Burrow, I'm a fan of all good quarterback play, and Joe Burrow's that dude, man. Watching him at LSU was one of the best college football seasons I think I've ever seen. Ever since he's been in the NFL, man, he just drops the ball into a bucket better than just about anybody in the league. And honestly, man, I'm very excited to see what he does, man. Hopefully our defense can give him something to make him a little frustrated for the preseason. But, you're not scheming up a lot of things again. This is preseason. The scheme is not going to be there. We're not going to be doing no exotic blitzing or things like that. We're just going to run a base shell defense, things like that. Can we put some pressure on him? Can we, get him off his spot? Joe Burrow's really good at putting the ball in places, but can we get him on the move and kind of rattle him? You're not looking for no big time sack type hit. It's not what you want to see in this game. Not for them, not for us. And again, we'll just see what it's got going into this game. I think it's going to be a pretty good game both ways. I think the Bengals are going to be exciting. I think Washington's offense is going to be a little bit exciting. Can our defense play a little bit better than what we showed last year? Can we stop the run? This is still a thing that I need to see for this team. I don't care who's on the field. I need to see this team stop the run. It's going to be my emphasis on this team all year long, and it's going to be next year and the year after until this team learns that they can, until they show that they can stop the run and tackle, pursue to the ball and, things like that. It's going to be an emphasis for me. I do not like watching my team get ran on. That is something, it's a pass first league this, now. Teams are airing it out. The exciting thing is to see the teams air it out. It is hard for a cornerback to show up week after week after week after week after week after week. That's why there's only so many Patrick Surtains in the league. But, stopping the run is something that you can do. It's an attitude. And you want to have a team that has the attitude to be able to stop the run, especially when it comes to the playoffs, man. Teams want to run the ball in the playoffs. They want to control the clock, and they want to get out of games when they have a lead. So, again, from week 1 of the preseason to the last week of the season that we play to the last week if we make it to the playoffs, into the playoffs, like whatever it is, man, I need to see improvement in the run game, stopping the run, being able to control the clock on offense and being able to control the clock on defense by being able to stop the run. And then can you get off the field on 3rd and 4th downs, things like that, 3rd and longs, things like that. Can you set them up for that? 2nd and longs and make them pass, make them be in that situation where you have to pass. We have pretty good cornerbacks now, man, and I think this is the system that you're going to look to be implementing when you're playing this season is can you get them in the 2nd and long and maybe passing in the 2nd and 3rd down, keep them backed up against the sticks and things like that, and then let your cornerbacks and your safeties, who I think are the strength of this team on the defense, let them do their thing, let them do their work. And I think that puts us in a little bit better position for success moving forward. Just systematically, with the roster that I'm seeing on this team, I think that's really where the strength of this team lies. So can you stop the run on early downs, get into 2nd and 3rd and longs, things like that, and then let the best players, best unit of your team shine. And then give the guys, that maybe aren't the best pass rushing unit, you're giving them more reps, so maybe they're improving in that and getting some pressure on the quarterback and things like that. We'll see how that goes. But again, man, the names I'm looking to see is will Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, will Bill play? Does he get reps with the ones, or is this a B-Rob game? Is this the Austin Eckler game? Because I really want to see how they're going to start using the running backs and things like that moving forward. I don't think we get a final answer on that until about week 4 of the season, because I think Bill's going to have something to say. I think he's going to get a ton of reps. Jalen Lane is a guy that I'm looking to see, man, especially with the ones, because I don't think Terry McLaurin's going to play, whether he gets his contract deal done today or in the future, whenever it is. I do think the deal gets done, but ultimately, is Jalen Lane going to play? What's he going to look like? Didn't have no catches, not because I didn't think he was open in the game. I just think the quarterback play was kind of struggling, a little bit nervous, man. I saw happy feet in the pocket from Sam Hartman. You're not going to see none of that from Jaden Daniels. So with Jaden Daniels running this offense, man, does Jalen Lane get more involved? Do we start to see some of those things? We're going to probably see Deebo Samuel for the first time on the field in a jersey, in live contact. I don't think you're going to see the crazy usage. I'm sure we'll see some screens. I'm sure we'll see some things like that. We're going to see some of the things out of a base offense, but we're not going to see it all dialed up on like triple, end arounds, double reverses, or things like that. We're not going to see the triple option, I'm sure, but, we're going to see some little shades of it and implementing some of the things you're going to see for the season, but a very vanilla package version of it. Excited to see Deebo Samuel on the team, man. I'm sure Laramie Tunsil will dress. I know he had a little injury scare or whatever in practice. I think it was a hand or something like that. I'm sure we'll see him fine. For a drive or two for the Bengals game, man, you're going to want to see Josh Connerly with the starters, man. Does Brandon Coleman dress for this game? He had an injury, didn't travel with the team for the Patriots game. Looking to see how Brandon Coleman plays from the guard position while he's next to next to Laramie Tunsil and Tyler Biadasz, man. I'm really trying to see how that side looks, man. This is probably the first opportunity we're going to get to see all three of them together. We know Sam Cosmi probably isn't playing until about week 1 to week 4. So, Josh Connerly, who's going to sit next to him? Is it Nick Allegretti? Things like that. Is that going to be how this offense looks from the starters? I'm really just trying to see how the offensive line looks, man, because that's going to be a pivotal group for this team moving forward. One, just improving in the run game department, man, the run blocking department, man. We've kind of struggled there in the last couple of years, especially under Ron Rivera. Last year, you saw him excel in it systematically, but it was more scheming, the offensive run game, and more so than guys winning their assignments like hat on hat. You had guys like Sam Cosmi, you had Brandon Coleman and Tyler Biadasz. You saw them winning their assignments. Every now and again, Wiley and all that. I mean, they're serviceable guys, but this is a much better unit, man, top to bottom, with Josh Connerly and Laramie Tunsil on this unit, and then Brandon Coleman inside. I think you have better matchups, hat on hat. And we're going to see how that goes, man. So I'm really looking forward to see how this offensive line produces, man. See if we can get the run game going against the Bengals. Again, it's Jalen Lanes, it's the other guys, man. Noah Brown might not play again. I don't know. You're trying to keep him healthy for the season. Can he stay healthy over the course of the season? That's always been a thing with him. If we do see Terry McLaurin, if we don't see Terry McLaurin, what does Jalen Lane? What can anybody get separation? Can anybody make a play for Jaden Daniels, or is it just the Zach Ertz show or things like that? That's the thing I'm looking to see in this game. Because without Terry McLaurin, man, that is the safety blanket that opens up everything for everybody else. Well, if we go a game this season without Terry McLaurin, if we play this game without Terry McLaurin, I think this is going to be the closest look to what it's going to look like without that guy on the field. If there was an injury or something like that. And again, I hate talking injuries. I hate talking this shit because I don't even like willing that shit into the air. But, it is football, and that things like that do happen. Can Deebo Samuel, show something in this game? Does he look explosive? I think he does. Everything we're seeing from camp, man, I think he's going to be used a little bit differently than how they used him in San Francisco. I don't think he's just going to be the gadget guy. I think this guy's going to play the wide receiver position more so how he played at South Carolina. Does that mean we're going to see Deebo Samuel down the, running deep seams down the, from the slot? I don't know, but are we going to see him running more routes and running things like that down the field to the short and intermediate game? I think we are. I think we're going to see more of that, which is something we saw a lot of when he was in South Carolina, when he was a college prospect, things like that in the Senior Bowl and things that got him drafted, pretty damn early in the second round. You saw that he could, run a 5-yard slant and take it to the house and things like that. I don't think they ran that quite as much in San Francisco. I think shades of that are going to come into this offense more so than what he did like that in San Francisco. So, again, I don't think you're going to see much of that from this game. But again, you're just looking for little things. Defensively, again, we know I'm going to talk about the D-backs. Jeremy Reeves looks fast, man. He looks healthy. I think he's making a name for himself as far as more than just being a special teamer on this team. I would expect our starting safeties to probably be Will Harris and Quan Martin. That's a unit I like. Very smart safeties. Quan Martin has everything to be an elite, level free safety in this league. He showed that last year, man. He just showed you that he was just developing as the year went on. His IQ, nothing over the top. We played very, very well. Not getting beat over the top systematically by the safeties and things like that. The responsibility was good. Will Harris is a good coverage safety, but he will light you up. Same with Quan Martin, man. Both of them are physical. Both of them are physical safeties that can move very, very well. Seeing Jeremy Reeves last week against the Patriots, similar thing. Guy that moves very well, has a little bit of instincts, can definitely cover ground, and will lay the wood when he gets there. We know our three corners. I expect our corners to look good, but this is a very, very good team to line up all three of these corners, man. I'm very excited to see what that matchup looks like against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, things like that, man. I think this is a good matchup for each of the guys at each spot. I want to see what Mikey Sanders still looks like inside, man. And I will talk about Mikey Sanders still all day on this podcast, but we get to see him for the first time inside, man. I'm very excited to see that. And then what does our front look like, man? What does our front look like with Deron Payne and Jerzon Newton? We got Javon Kinlaw. This is going to be the first time we see him in action here. What do the edges show? Do any edges show up? Do any of them flash? Does Von Miller play? I don't know. Frankie Louvu, you're just trying to see what it looks like from a vanilla offense. I mean, from a vanilla standpoint, but are we going to see anybody flash? Does anybody excel past just the vanilla format that we bring into this game? And does anybody jump off the tape? Does any of the youth jump off a tape and, show that they deserve, alternate reps and rotation, to any of these veteran guys? Because these veteran guys, they're not going to be able to play 75, 85% of the snaps. I mean, except for Bobby Wagner. He's the ageless wonder. But, Von Miller's not going to be playing 85% of the snaps. He's probably not going to play 65% of the snaps. So does any of these guys show that they belong? Does Dietrich Wise show anything on the pass that maybe you didn't think he showed with other stops? Because we know he can play the run. Dorrance Armstrong, does he show, progress in the scheme, from year 1 to year 2, even though he's from the same coaching staff in Dallas and things like that? It's just growth, man, developmental growth. We'll see what we see in this game, and then we'll report it to you guys. Got a couple more days before the Bengals game, so if any news comes out, man, I'll get back to you guys. Anything crazy, if Terry signs, I told you I'd give you that pod. College football is coming soon, so that's something that I like to talk about. So it's not going to be all Commanders based when it's coming, late August and things like that. College football's around the corner, and I really, really look forward to getting into those discussions because that's what I like to do. I like to talk about college football prospects, man. The show on Netflix, man. The SEC any given Saturday, man. It's pretty damn tight. They talk. Whit Weeks is featured on that, the LSU linebacker that I'm really, really high on. He's just a football player, man. This is gives you, like, from a scouter's perspective, man, getting to see these guys behind the scenes. I really, really love I really, really love shows like that, man. Just being able to get behind the scenes, but in the mind of a football player as they're talking about their game reps and things like that, and just seeing it from that side, man. It's a show that it's just another format that I get to learn about these players from, and I really, really get into that. That's what drives me. Watching these guys on tape, knowing what they already did last season, knowing what I got on notes last season, but then you get a dive into the personality, the mind makeup of the player. A linebacker is going to be made up very, very differently from a quarterback, man. Quarterbacks have to see the game from a different perspective. They have to be mentally on a different level watching the game. Linebackers got to be able to make that play time and time again after getting beat time and time again. You see that quarterback, man, it's just like, I get beat, but I got to be level. Watching that show was very, very cool. Watching Gary Nussmeier and things like that. Just talking about LSU players, the guys that are going to be really, really high on these teams' draft boards coming into this season with the Whit Weeks, Garrett Nussmeyer's, man. SEC is it's a powerhouse division, man. It's always stacked. Just watching some of the guys that were in the draft last year in that show, and the DJ Lagways from Florida, and it's listening to these coaches, man. I was really dialed into the South Carolina, man. I really, really like that coaching staff, man. I was a really, really big fan of his dad when he was in Virginia Tech. I like that Beamer ball type shit, man. The three phases of the game, playing all. I don't know. I love that show. It was really, really cool to get insight from the coaching staffs, the players' perspectives, just all these things, man. I really love college football, man. So that was a really, really cool thing. If you haven't checked it out on Netflix, check it out because it gives you a little bit of insight as a scouter's eye, is what you're seeing, man, systematically and things like that, and what these kids go through on a week-to-week basis. You see who really, really loves the game. You see who guys are just talented and just, trust me, man, there's all sorts of things you're going to see if you really want to learn that level of football, man. I would definitely recommend checking it out. But thanks for sticking around for the pod. Hopefully I got some Terry news this week for you guys. We can talk something more than just preseason football because honestly it does get repetitive. Like I said, college football's coming soon. NFL action is coming soon, so I'll be talking about other teams, as the seasons break down. But for preseason, all season, it's mainly Commanders. That's what I do, and scouting, stuff like that. So while we don't have any of that to report, it's all preseason for right now and Commanders, and everything will be changing soon for you guys, man. But thank you guys for checking out the pod, Blue Chip Podcast by Fans for Fans. It's your host, Cody Potter. We're out.